Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Hi everyone, happy 11/11. I'm Siti Ruzanida, your host for the next 1 hour. I know today is a happy day for shopping, but do stick to your screen because we have an interesting topic today, the art of powerful storytelling. We will start in just a few minutes with our keynote speaker session, and if you have any question about the topic, you can go to the Pigeonhole link, which the QR code will be appeared on the screen. Okay, so we will have a live chat session after the speaker session, and we will answer your questions. So do ask questions and stay tuned until the end of the session. All right, so before we proceed, just a little bit about our honorable keynote speaker, Mr. Sujimi Muhammad, the Managing Director of Screenbox Private Limited, a Singapore-based digital content creating agency. Previously, a production house known for its international documentaries and media production services for an impressive list of local and original clients. Mr. Sujimi, who was in a media industry for 31 years, has developed his skills in the back rooms of broadcasting stations. Now he is driving the way for Screenbox to evolve and align itself to today's digital age of social media, creating their niche with its multiple owned and managed Facebook pages, which capture the interest of 6 million people average monthly. So Mr. Sujimi himself is a social media influencer with more than 250K followers on his Facebook page. He is recognized for his vlogs that feature human interest stories with a social message. His vlogs are widely followed with viewership ranging from 500K to 3.2 million views and clinching an average online reach of 3 million people. Isn't that amazing? I'm sure you can't wait to hear his story. So let's do it now. I won't delay you no more. Presenting to you Mr. Sujimi Muhammad.
Hello and a warm welcome to all participants of ILSA's International Conference on Learning and Development. I'm Sujimi Muhammad from Screenbox Private Limited in Singapore, and I'll be talking about the art of storytelling. A lot of people ask me about storytelling. How do you tell good stories to achieve your campaign and marketing objectives? How do you maximize your social media to gain more reach, not just locally, but abroad too? Now, in order for you to understand how to tell a story, I need to share with you my story first. Then towards the end, I will share with you the key takeaways you can learn from it. My wife and I co-founded Screenbox in 1999, where we produced multiple award-winning television programs, some of which were distributed across the globe. 5 to 6 years ago, we started seeing some changes in our company and our industry. A change that we didn't realize was going to impact us, our business and our lives in a huge way. We were on an uncharted path, not knowing what to expect. Today, when I think back, I think it was meant to be. It was like, hey, this is what we needed to go through. Imagine if you were in my shoes, going through something you were unfamiliar with, having to unlearn and relearn something completely new. I reached a point where if I didn't find a solution fast, there was no way for me to recover from this. I was worried not just for my company, but all my staff who persevered with me. It was a scary time, but I'm going to tell you how our business overcame this and what we did to survive. So let me bring you back to how it first started. We started doing advertising. That was the first thing we did when we set up the company. We had many clients, mainstream clients, who wanted to penetrate the Malay-speaking market locally and across the region. Now, this has been our main focus since day one, till this day. We then carved a niche area for ourselves, which is television. We hit it big, actually. We started with documentaries, information programs, and then we expanded to animation, drama. Now, we did all sorts of content from travel series, cooking series in English and Bahasa Melayu. Now, we were amongst the very few production houses who produce regional theme programs for Channel News Asia. We gained a lot of success across television and advertising campaigns. We won huge accounts year on year, and we saw our growth hitting the mark that we were chasing for. Now, we were amongst the pioneers of television production houses. But not all good things were meant to last. We saw the rise of television, and then came the decline. Now, when we started, there were only 5 to 7 production houses in the market. 10 years on, we saw maybe about 40 production houses. 15 years later, we saw about more than 70 production houses in Singapore, fighting for that small pie. One by one, they all started to mature, and more newer production houses started appearing. The problem? We were all sharing a slice of this same pie, and the market became saturated. But with our experience, we were stable. It gave us an advantage above the rest. We were hit by multiple waves of challenges. The Asian financial crisis in late 90s to 2000, SARS outbreak 2003, and the global financial crisis. Now, we weathered through all of these, but in 2009, social media came alive and things started to shift. No one was thinking about social media at that time. No one thought it could be a viable platform at that time, so no one paid attention to it. What we didn't know back then was this was the beginning of an entirely new path for us. We could not explain it. We were not getting projects, advertising or television works. I got really worried because every time we pitched and sent out more ideas than before, none came back. Yes, 0. Okay, we were not shortlisted. There were no follow-ups. We pitched multiple times, nothing in return. So I told my wife that this could be the end of our company. If we don't do something, this could be the end of our company, Screenbox. In fact, one of our staff sensed that we were not getting big jobs like we used to. He even told me, and I can remember this vividly, he said, "I don't think you can afford me anymore. I'm willing to leave the company so that you can survive." Now that woke us up. Imagine building a business on a platform, and that platform was the only one you knew since day one. Now that traditional platform ceases to exist. How do you recover from that? We had to do something before the business collapsed. And it started with accepting that there was nothing we could do for television. We knew we had to find another place, which we later realized it was social media. While my team was servicing smaller accounts and we pushed through with minimal projects, I started doing video blogging, or today they call it vlogs. I documented every single thing I did, where I went, what I was doing, what I ate. I started off with videos of about 300 views. The big break came when I started sharing what helped me in my previous business. I started sharing reflections. For example, in April 2015, I shared about a campaign and how important zakat was. I shared how I developed the idea for the campaign. Later, I shared tips on how to become a TV presenter. You know, people started reacting and got interested. It wasn't really big, but it got me started. I started getting bolder to do reflections about life, about my mom, and more. And at that time, my target was youth, because I thought only youth use social media. The topics I chose were all related to youth. I did on a topic of respecting your mom and how you should not be afraid to kiss your mom when you are all grown up. That was quite a hit with a few thousand views. Then I started venturing into different types of topics like where to find musalla or prayer space around malls in Singapore. That one broke the barrier and I received 30 to 40,000 views. I was very fascinated and I kept doing more. I started shooting different videos of musalla at different locations in Singapore. You must know that in Singapore, having a musalla in buildings were not common. It's not customary, so when one is built, it is a big thing that people benefit from knowing it. Despite the slow business, I kept with my vlogs. In 2015, I met a boy who was among the first few to arrive in a mosque on a Friday. I ambushed him with an interview and found out that he reads and recites the Al-Quran almost every day in a mosque, and that went viral. It brought my vlog above 100,000 views. In fact, it later hit 200,000 views, just like that. So my first big break into Malaysian community was sometime in December that year when we had our last few TV project. I remember it was for a television program when we were trying to break the world record. We did broke the world record. I wouldn't have gotten that without my mom's prayers. I surprised her with the news and that I got a new project and how happy I was, So I met her, I recorded both our conversation on camera to get her reaction actually. I didn't expect anything from that. And after months of not having a new project, so I just wanted to tell her how happy I was. She started telling me not to worry because when one door closes, another door opens.
Itu kita jangan takut tak dapat rezeki. InsyaAllah Allah bagi. Di mana kita duduk di situ rezeki Tuhan bagi. Jadi kita memerlukan ikhlas dan jujur, sabar, tawakal. Itulah pedoman hidup.
That message resonated across Singaporeans and Malaysians. So I continued doing vlogs like that. I dabbled in different types of content. I started interviewing people I met. I met a fallen gangster. His name was Vincent. That video got me 3.2 million views. I met a taxi driver who raised 6 sons in Malaysia and he managed to put everyone through university. That one got another 3 million views.
Bila anak tu kecil, umur setahun 2, dia bergaduh, jangan pukul yang mengacau adik tadi. Dua-dua pukul. Tanya dia, you anak siapa? Anak ayah. You anak siapa? Kenapa gaduh?
Every single story gave me new followers. I remember within 18 months, I secured about 100,000 followers. Before even hitting 100,000 followers, between 60 to 100,000 followers, thereabout, I started getting queries from sponsors. Now that shook me because I didn't realize what was happening. When I started advertising, I created advertisements asset that needed a platform. We turned to traditional media like television to distribute the asset. But now I started seeing social media was a platform that I built and could gain reach from. I did not only become the content creator, I became the distributor of the content. Apart from utilizing Facebook at that time, I became self-reliant. When sponsors realized I had the reach, they wanted to leverage from it. When sponsors came in, interestingly, my mom had her first sponsor. It was Kara Coconut Cream. They flew in from Jakarta and wanted to sponsor a few videos. So I shared the revenue with my mom and soon bigger sponsors came, Courts, F&B companies like Poca and Ovaltine. They hired me to do vlogs and create stories just like how I normally do. It appeared organic, not pushy or not too commercialized. Every single sponsor at that time until today, in fact, was sitting in my story and disseminating the messages that they wanted the Malay-speaking audience to embrace. One after another, we realized that this is a viable business. By that time, because we didn't have any huge television projects, we started running out of cash. We needed capital injection. We didn't have time to market or to get an investor. So I told my wife, why don't we sell our house? We sold it, got a good deal, and managed to buy a new home. We had no debts because I paid off a smaller house from it, and we were still able to take care of our family. We traveled to Mecca, and a huge chunk of what's left was channeled back to the company to pay our staff salary. Even though we had little to zero projects for television, we had enough to pay our staff. Now, following the capital injection, we decided to go full blast on social media, 100%. So since I had my personal page, my wife decided to develop her own page, and together we developed other pages. If we could get sponsors for one page, I was thinking we could multiply the same mechanics into other thematic pages. So we developed pages like tetarik.sg, something that appeals to a new audience. We systemized everything. I brought in a business team to start packaging our advertising rates. They started sourcing out people, and people started coming in, and we became a content creation agency again. We started in 1999 as an advertising agency for other platforms. Today, we are an agency to platforms that we built on social media on our own. That's how our business survived. So let's talk about learning points. Why you are here today, to learn the art of storytelling, right? So number one, your core competence is very important, but how relevant your core competence is may change from time to time. You may be good in something, but that doesn't mean that the same skill set will stay relevant over time. Now, for example, you may be good in video making, and that has not changed through time, right? But we have learned that we cannot use the same discipline for social media because the audience is now different. They want quick videos. They want a resolution faster. They want instant gratification. They can't wait for 1 hour. They don't need that much time to enjoy the video. So you need to adjust how you do certain things and adapt to the new platform. We had to unlearn television discipline and relearn the new platform's discipline. One of the things I learned was from my daughter. She told me that the manner I produce social media videos was very similar to television. I over-edited the videos, and there was no rawness or edginess to the videos. But that was exactly what worked on social media, on YouTube and Facebook. She exposed me to a lot of vloggers and content creators from YouTube, and I started dissecting the videos and began learning from them. Number two, full disclosure is important in social media. Within that full disclosure, you need to express your personal reflection on every single thing that you do. This is completely different from traditional media where everything is proper, everything sometimes is masked. You know, they sugarcoat it, or it's not personal. You know, to be personal, you need full disclosure. Throughout the video, there is a personal take to everything. Number three, you put the best parts of your videos first. In traditional media, television, you can develop cliffhangers, after cliffhangers, and you can leave the best part for last. For a sit-down appointment viewing audience, that's okay. But for a lean-forward community who has no time and wants quick and instant gratification, you have to show the best first. Grab the audience. Then they will invest time with you. There's a simple formula I use, a 3-letter acronym. I call it HOT, H-O-T. H means hook. In every video, we must have a hook to draw in the audience. It's very important. Sometimes the hook is just 6 seconds. O means one objective only. You should never have more than one objective in a single video, because a video with multiple objectives would be hard for the audience to unpack and follow through. Lastly, T, tell a good story. There are many things to consider when attempting to tell a good story, and that's why I conduct my masterclasses today to share with others the format and the flow of a proper engaging video. Okay, number 4, never mount the camera on a tripod and start talking like a TV presenter, just like how I'm doing right now. Because when you start doing that, you are doing a television show, and that doesn't work on social media. So what works is this. So I use a palm-sized vlogging camera, and you hold it just like any other vloggers. They were holding the camera on their palm. The camera became like a friend. It's really close. It's really getting tight shots of yourself, right? The camera became so close, and the proximity between the camera and the talent is important for social media audience. We are like friends, right? We are close, right? Now, they want to see almost everything. They want to see you up close. They want to see what you are seeing, your reaction when you turn the camera. They want to see every single movement that you do. Now, holding the camera in a vlogging style was a thing then, and it's still a thing now. With close proximity, people tend to feel closer to you. Number 5, don't overlook the simplicity in social media videos. This is something traditional media struggles to understand. Even in its simplicity, good storytelling is still needed. How you craft your flow and put forth your message still plays a part. Takeaway number 6, social media is now a crowded place. It has become fragmented. People are following influencers with content pillars that match their own interests. You can enlarge your content scope, but you need to be sharp in its slant to achieve virality. 7, consistency and relevance is key. Creating online videos that are engaging can be taught and learned, but one of the biggest challenges for content creators today is consistency. The other is relevance. Social media works on algorithms that thrive on consistent frequency of postings. You have to plan and commit to your social media platform. It doesn't grow overnight. And as you create content for social media, you must remain current and relevant to your audience. In a nutshell, be prepared to change the way you interact and engage with the audience. That has been the formula on how we produce social media videos. Of course, there are many other things that I discovered. Learning how to unpack social media videos, I manualize it personally for my company. I let my team know how they approach social media videos was very important. What I did was I started to chart every single format on how a social media video should be stylized, a storyboard, how it should be formatted. It was an important feature, and what it did was it spawned a new business for us, which is training. We started teaching others how to produce social media videos and become content creators. All this funneled to a new business for us. We became the voice of the Malay-speaking community. In Singapore, we created a strong digital footprint on social media. We manage various social media platforms and offer digital media, marketing, and advertising solutions to clients who wish to penetrate the Malay-speaking market in Singapore and the region. We continue to bring human interest stories to the public, stories that impact the community. We became highly watched, highly interacted with, and highly engaged. Here are some examples of stories that impacted the community and how people start appreciating and encouraging us to produce more of such stories. I brought religious stories into the picture. We started collaborating with other content creators, and it just spawned this new life in our business. Thinking back, one good thing that happened to our company was not receiving any projects from our biggest client at that time, which is television. I didn't know and could not see it then, but that was the best thing that happened to us. I've learned that your biggest disappointment, your biggest challenge, could be your biggest turning point for a new lease of life. After this, we're going to have question and answers. I'll be more than happy to answer any of your questions. Thank you Tenaga Nasional Berhad Malaysia and Integrated Learning Solutions, ILSAS, for having me, and thank you to all of you who have tuned in to my sharing.
Hi, Mr. Sujimi. Thank you for
Hi,
your
Siti.
great sharing just now. I was very much captured by the word learn and unlearn, which I think that's so much relevant to the world now, which we are facing the fast changing world, and I'm not sure whether we are fast enough to catch up. All right, and I'm also amazed how you have made your hard time the biggest challenge of your career, your business, into the brighter future as a turning point to the brighter future, which I think you are having it now. So congratulations, and all right.
You.
So let's
Thank you so much for having me, by the way.
Yeah, our the honor is ours actually. Okay, so a question from the pigeonhole, I think quite interesting. We have quite a number. But okay, let's pick the most voted one. I think this one is very interesting. Okay, the question is, just curious, what happened to the guy who intended to leave you earlier? Remember you mentioned at the earlier of your...
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, really? So that got the most votes, is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Surprisingly.
that's amazing.
So it means
Anyway,
that
good
they pay
morning to...
attention to your
Okay,
story.
thank you so much. And I want to thank everyone who's attending the conference, and hopefully it benefits you. What happens to the guy who intended to leave? He actually left willingly. Because he's actually a very talented visual effect artist, and his name is Kiko. He's a family man. So he went back to the Philippines, and we are still friends. We kept in touch. In fact, after leaving my company, he set up an animation company in the Philippines, and today I hire his company to support whatever we are doing in Singapore. So all good. I mean, if he did not bring this up to me, I wouldn't have the heart to actually ask him to leave, because we were having a very hard time, and having someone who understands you right from the beginning really helped, and that showed his personal support. And today I kept supporting his company, so we are really friends now.
Good
Yeah,
to
so
hear
that's what
that.
happened to the guy. Yeah,
There's always a blessing in disguise in everything that happened.
definitely.
All right. So, Mr. Sujimi, let's move to the next question. What
Okay.
is a good, suitable duration for a video on social media platform? Does it differ from Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube?
Okay, I love this question. Thank you so much. Now, yes, there is a lot of difference between duration, right? If sometimes when I produce a vlog for Facebook, I deliberately make it shorter, because in Facebook, it is attending to lean forward community. Lean forward community means they are very busy people, so they like to discover something on their newsfeed. So anything between 3 minutes to 5 minutes is actually good. It does not mean that 10 minutes won't go viral. I have videos that go viral on Facebook that long. However, Facebook audience are not ready to watch videos. They don't go to Facebook to watch videos. If you compare it to YouTube, YouTube audience, it's premeditated. I'm going into YouTube to watch videos. So a lot of times I get feedback, Sujimi, why is your video on YouTube very short? To them, 10 minutes is very short on YouTube. So they want it longer. They want 17 minutes. They want 23 minutes. They want half an hour. They don't mind even 1 hour videos on YouTube. So you need to look at your audience, and for audience who are willing to invest time, like YouTube audience, you can produce longer vlogs. However, for places like Facebook or even Instagram, they are there not to invest time in videos, even though there are good videos there. They prefer shorter videos, shorter, sharp in your editorial. That's how we do it. For other platform like Twitter, TikTok, that's even shorter. You cannot you cannot hope that you have one video and that video fits all social media. No, you have to repurpose. On Facebook is this much. On YouTube, you can extend it. You can have an extended version of whatever you're doing. I always do that. Sometimes I tell my Facebook followers that I have an extended version on YouTube. Yeah, so you cut it even shorter for Twitter and also Instagram.
So
Yeah, thank you for that question.
yeah, so different platform, different criteria for the duration. All right, interesting.
Yes.
All right, so let's move to the third question. How to make content that we share become interesting from others' perspective, and how to maintain our spirit to post content regularly, from Inas Tuti Ramadhani.
Okay, wonderful. Inas Tuti Ramadhani, thank you so much for that question. It's amazing that you're asking this question because a lot of content creators have burnout at times, and they get very they don't get motivated a lot of times. Now, sometimes we need to remember the why. Why are we doing this? There must be a purpose for doing a video. You are serving a community, you are serving an audience. Just remember why you are doing that. And if you start your purpose with the fact that you want to help your audience in whatever topic that you have decided to do, most of the time you are self-motivated to attend. For example, on YouTube, we have a lot of videos that help mothers, even fathers, to cook, to prepare a good meal for their family. And I get a lot of feedback, especially from YouTube, say in Indonesia, Malaysia, comes from businessmen. These are small businesses who wrote to us and say that your recipe, your mom recipe, helped our business because we use the recipe to serve our customers. And I'm so happy whenever I'm down or when I get burnout sometimes. I read all the positive comments. Don't read negative comments. Read positive comments. And then you get very motivated to tell the next story. Sometimes how you can feel very grounded is if you feel down, do help another content creator. What happens when I was very small in terms of follower base, right? I have another content creator who helped me. They help to share my story. So what you do is that you tell yourself every month, I want to help another content creator share their story. By helping another content creator sharing your story, you get so hyped up and motivated, and you are doing something good for the viewing community. So if you are feeling down and you do not know what to do, just remember the purpose. The first question was, can I see the question again?
Again, the question again? The second question?
How? Yeah, the second question. There's a first part to the question.
All right, it's coming. All right.
Okay, how to make content that shared become interesting from others' perspective. Okay, number one, you need to be the center of authority for the subject matter. Meaning, you yourself must either be the expert in that field, whether it's cycling, cooking, storytelling. You must be either the expert or the person who is genuinely interested in that topic. Even if you cannot cook, but you love food, you can still be a content creator, bring other chefs into your storytelling, and genuinely find out how to do things. Now, when you are genuinely interested to find out and curious about other things, there will be a larger group of people who are in a similar position as yourself. They too want to find out. So it's always your perspective, and don't worry too much about trying to attend so many perspectives because you cannot please everyone on that platform. You pick a topic, be curious about that topic, find out about that topic, and there will be someone else who needs to know the same information. So sometimes what you do is you investigate what information that could be value added for this community. For example, in the community of I always do social stories, social commentary. So sometimes I find out, for example, there is a legal case that is happening that just blew up in Singapore. So instead of trying to solve the problem, because we are not, all of us, I mean, some of us are not social engineers. We don't know how to remedy a social situation, but you can find out experts who know these things. Find out, interview them, and get their opinion. So you don't have to solve the world problem or your community problem, but you are giving value-added information. So just remember, give value to your audience, even in a very simplest thing, in art form. Sometimes people love arts and craft, how to paint, how to make homemade jam. These are things that people would like to know. And if you want to find out, you can Google, you can search in YouTube, Facebook, search for the most searched things in your domain. For example, if you are in even an academic, if you are in accounting, search for what is most popular search in that domain. You know that these are the ones that people would like to find out. For example, I was searching about, and there was one time in Singapore, we were doing a story about marriage dowry, the hantaran. What is the level of hantaran today? Is it 30,000? Is it 50,000? Those are actually more searched in our community. So we start doing that story. So knowing what the audience want to know will also help you come up with stories that could be interesting to your viewers.
All right. So somehow we need to understand our audience also, Mr. Sujimi.
Very much,
Do you
yes.
agree? All right. Okay. So can we have another question, if you allow? All right. So
Sure,
okay.
go ahead.
Yeah. So this is the fourth question. Can you please elaborate more on leadership storytelling?
Okay, more and more leaders are required to tell a story, simply because of the notion that people follow people. They don't follow companies. My company follower numbers will be smaller than my personal page, and this happens to everyone. I mean, people may not follow Virgin Airlines, but they follow Richard Branson. Richard Branson has more followers because he's telling more story. And I think people love leaders who tell stories because it attach with authenticity and the character of the leader. For example, if the leader want to articulate that they are honest, or they are facing difficulty, they are struggling, people love the fact that you disclose this matter, but you also offer resolution in your storytelling. People want to see example that can relate to themselves. So leaders who can storytell well are always followed. People love to follow anecdotes, personal anecdotes, something that humanize business. For example, if you're a leader in business, right, you can humanize the problem, meaning I can look at this and I understand what you are going through. I understand the resolution that you take. I will continue to follow you, and in turn, I follow the journey of your company, and I have this relationship. I now have a relationship with your company. So the leadership storytelling is like a window to your organization. So if you tell a very good story, I might peek at your window. I might peek into your organization. And so it is important that every single leader today, especially with social media, that you use the current tools to tell a story. Yeah.
So this is under your tips, personal disclosure.
Right. Yeah.
In the video, you mentioned about it.
Yeah, I mentioned once that if possible, you can give others full disclosure. Social media, if sometimes when you try to hide, a few things in your organization, someone will find out about it. But you have to balance. You want to disclose a few things, you need to know certain things. But the more you disclose and that can benefit other people, the more people will follow you.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. All right, Mr. Sujimi, I guess that's all the time we have.
Oh, that's all? It seems so short.
So, do we have more time? Oh, okay. Yeah, luckily we have one more question. We can, yeah.
Okay.
All
I
right.
see some interesting questions
Yeah.
there.
Okay. So we have, do you think that there will come a time that social media will be oversaturated with content creators? So because of
Oh, yes.
everyone is doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
honestly, it is already oversaturated. What social media is today is what traditional media is 10 years ago. Because traditional media used to be one channel, one TV channel show everything. But today, no. One channel can just be showing about animals. One channel can just be showing about architecture, right? So it becomes fragmented. Today, social media is actually oversaturated. It has become fragmented. So if you want to survive as a content creator today, you need to be sure about what your content pillars are. Content pillars are like things that people understand what you are. For example, I have about 9 content pillars. I do family stories. I do cooking. I also do a fatherhood journey with my children. Now, fix your content pillar because people need to understand who you are. If you can make every single content pillar in your channel very clear, you will cut across the noise. You will be discovered. Don't try to be somebody else, because when you try to be somebody else, you become nobody. Try to become yourself, because that's unique to you, and people love to follow people who have a different perspective from others, right? So remember to fix your content pillars and be very committed to your content pillar. If you tell yourself that I'm going to do this kind of content, try it for about 3 months. If it works, people will discover you. Say you tried it for 6 months, there could be 2 things if it doesn't work. One, it could be your what you're doing is too niche. Second, the format that you are doing it could be not so exciting. You need to change the format. Just change the format. There are many types of vlogs actually. There's self-reflection vlogs. There is case study vlogs. If in my masterclass, I teach variety of vlogs that you can adopt for your channel. So explore those format that work for your channel.
Yeah, interesting. I think we have to utilize the time because the question is coming. So many questions that we have. So I have to ask you
Wonderful.
this. All right. So how you manage being exposed to public?
Okay. I have been in the public eye since I was 16 years old. When I was 16 years old, I'm already known because I was in a radio show that got so popular. We have gunny sack of, last time they don't have email, right? So they write to us. So we have gunny sacks of a fan mail. So from at a very young age, I'm already used to the public eye. When it comes to exposure, I always limit very personal, not so very personal things, but I give what the public needs to know about my life, and you need to be okay with that. Most importantly, not only you need to be okay with that, your family needs to be okay with that. So when my kids are growing up, when I was with my wife, I have to explain to them. Whenever people approach me outside, it's because they know me. And when you explain to your kids and your family and you get their support, you will find that your journey will be very interesting. If you don't get your family support, it's going to be a million times harder to create content, especially for the public. But it doesn't mean that you need to be on camera all the time, because there are channels that don't require you to be in front of the channel. You can still do that because we call those content thematic content. There's no vlogger in front of the channel. So it's a different approach. But if you so decide to be on camera, just know that you are constantly on the public eye. You cannot, you must know that whatever you say can be screenshot. You have to be aware that people are always looking, at what you are doing, so be very careful about who you associate with, the topic that you take on. If you're not ready to take on sensitive topic, do not go there. I want to recommend, if you're starting a channel, do not take on very big topic, political topic, religion topic. Stay away from sensitive topic. Just focus on something that makes someone happy, motivated. They like, something very light first, because it's hard when you dive in, you hit the ground running, and you hit a sensitive topic, you go viral in a wrong way. It's heavy. It's going to be heavy on your shoulder and on your family. So just be positive about all your stories and all your content. You'll be okay.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Mr. Sujimi. We have one more question. There's a lot of question for you today. All right. So this question asks, if I will start to become a content creator, should I plan ahead or just shoot then edit at the end? From Ada Gonzalez.
Ada Gonzalez, you have highlighted two types of vlogs. The plan ahead vlogs, I call them reflection. You already plan to do something, you can reflect on it, okay? But the one that you point and shoot and you just go with the flow is what I call live journal vlogs. So live journal vlogs, you don't really have to plan. You attend an event, just keep shooting, okay? Keep shooting. And then you may be shooting for 1 hour. You can reduce it to 15 minutes. You cut and you highlight the best parts of your day, right? So that's called live journal, and it's a content pillar. The reflection, the one that you plan, is another content pillar. You plan everything, meaning you plan to meet this person, you plan to interview him. There is a topic in mind. You have raised certain question and you find out a few things, whether it's cooking or whatnot, right? So that is another content pillar. So you now have identified two content pillar that you can do. One is you don't plan it, whatever it takes, you just go with the day and record. Okay, so that require different type of editing, different type of format. The one that you plan require a flow. Now that flow you need to learn. There is a standard flow for establishing a story that you plan. Okay, so vis-a-vis a story that you record without planning, both has its advantage. But here's the thing, whether you plan or unplan, you must have a message in mind. Something that you didn't plan, you came about your day and you decided, okay, you need to reflect on what happens and on that day, and you need to tell others the takeaways, what you go through and what you learn on that day. People love to follow others because they have their own take and life lessons. People learn from experience. So if you don't plan to shoot, you still need to plan to say what you learn. Reflect on it. Yeah. So you have identified two good content pillar right there, and I suggest you can try to do both.
All right. So can we move to the next question, Mr. Sujimi? There's a lot of questions that we have in the pigeonhole.
Wonderful.
All right.
I love it.
Okay. So in your opinion, how business storytelling may increase employee efficiency and customer engagement? The powerful of storytelling.
Okay.
From Vanessa.
So Vanessa, thanks for that question. I can answer the second part first, customer engagement. I have an e-commerce, okay, because I have an e-commerce platform now. It's called kedaisujimi.com. And because of the storytelling, a lot of times we use stories to engage customer and turn them into trying products or buying products. Now, I just want to tell you that my very first product, it was a soap. It's called sugar soap. So what I did was I told the story via my daughter, how my daughter helped me to clean the walls, to clean my house. And when we launched the video, it wasn't a commercial video. It was just me uh, engaging, bonding with my daughter, trying to clean the kitchen walls and things like that. And on that day, we got 1,000 orders for one day, 1,000 orders for that, and it's not because people can buy soap. Why do they buy from you? Number one, they trust who you are. They love the sentimental part and the emotional part of the story. There is that connection. So it increased customers' engagement. People were talking about how cute, she was with me when she started cleaning and how she played with the product. So um, via simple storytelling, you can actually increase customer engagement. You know, whether or not it increases staff efficiency, that's a different matter, completely different matter. I need to say that my company is a content creation agency, so everyone in my company is into content. So I don't think I know whether or not it will increase staff efficiency in another company that does not do content for a living. So that I may need another expert to talk about that.
All right, we're gonna have another session for that, especially, yeah, Mr.
Yeah.
Sujimi, in the future maybe. All right, so one more question. Yeah, we have one more question for you. How to overcome a language barrier in storytelling?
Language barrier
Language barrier.
is he talking about speaking in English
I
or?
think so. Yeah, most probably English.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right from the get-go, I have decided to use Malay language for my stories because I was attending to Malay-speaking audience first. I wanted to get Malay-speaking audience in Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Brunei. So that was my target audience. So I didn't have any language barrier, but it does not mean that I don't want to do English stories. I do. Some of my videos are mainly in English, in mainstream language in Singapore. You have to decide. For me, don't do things that is very too uncomfortable for you because you cannot deliver it well. Today there is an element of caption. You can always subtitle. You can always subtitle in another language that you want. So if you're comfortable in English language, go ahead and do it. If you are not comfortable in that language, do it in the language that you are most comfortable in. Your personality will shine in the language that you are so used to, right? If you're not used to a language, you may be struggling and your storytelling will be affected. Later on, you can try another language. So I highly recommend you go for the language that you are best in, that you are most comfortable in, and your vocabulary is rather wide for that language. I think that's more important in storytelling. We do have non-Malay speaking followers who follow me, and they were following the subtitles and they were following the caption. So there's no stopping actually when it comes to language barrier.
Yeah, we can put the subtitle under the screen for people to understand,
Yep.
right? All right. Thank you,
Yeah.
Mr. Sujimi. We have one more question. All right. So
Sure.
the question is, what is your future threat? How are you preparing yourself to face this threat? From Caroline.
Okay, what is my future trend? How I preparing? Okay, I think the biggest threat is I do worry about relevance. It takes 4 things to be viral on social media. One is, do you still have the connection with your audience? Second, are you still relevant to your audience? Third, this first 2 is organic virality. Now, the third one is algorithmic. Okay, do you have high engagement, and what are the signals that you are sending across? So that is algorithmic. It achieves algorithmic virality. The first 2 is we have control. I worry whether or not one day we will not become relevant to our audience. It can happen. You know, if we make a mistake in overjudging the community, we make a mistake in trying to sidestep what is real in the community and start doing something that is not relevant to the community. I do worry about that. That is a threat to a lot of content creators. Second, the other big threat is being consistent. You know, right from the start, I always churn out one video a week. Today, we are churning out more than one video a week. So I hope we can continue to be consistent, because if you offer one video a week and then one day you stop or you are not committed, you don't give out enough videos, right? It's going to be a threat to your channel. But honestly, the biggest threat is actually trying to make sense of your content in new social media platform. For example, I'm trying to go into TikTok. I have 2 TikTok accounts now. So I want to be relevant to that platform. You know, the biggest threat is our understanding of that platform. All my other videos may not work there. So I think we need to find out and truthfully ask ourselves, what is this relevance going to help us in other platforms? Because I mean, imagine if one day Facebook is no longer relevant to us and I cannot do my business there. I need to find other platform, right? But content is always king. So just remember, content can survive in any platform. We just need to have better understanding of what that platform is so that you can serve that community there.
Yes, I agree with that, Mr. Sujimi. I believe you will maintain your content and relevancy, as you said.
Inshallah.
Because it's the key to the powerful of your storytelling. All right, so Mr. Sujimi, I'm afraid we can go for more question now, but there's some comment that I would like to share with you, because people are happy with your sharing today. So this is from Azrina. It's so nice to see people enjoying what they do as part of income, instead of rigid 8 to 5 work schedule. By the way, she is your followers, Mr. Sujimi.
Oh, thank you, Azrina. Thank you for following me. I
So
truly appreciate
one more. Okay, so there's one more comment. No question, actually, just to thank you for the sharing. It's motivate me to not give up on my YouTube channel. Thank you, admin. From Mak Yang. I
All
will
the
follow
best,
Mak
Mak
Yang
Yang.
channel
Please,
later.
yes, please follow Mak Yang. I will look out for your channel. Please continue, okay?
All right. So I think that's all we have for today. Thank you, Mr. Sujimi, for your time, for your great sharing. I'm sure it will benefit us in many ways. So, all right.
Yeah, I want to thank you and the people from this conference who helped to bring this wonderful topic. I just want to let you know to visit our virtual booth. We have a virtual booth, Screenbox virtual booth in Iclad conference. So please go there. If you still have a lot of questions, please go to my social media and DM me. I will try to reply you as soon as I can.
Definitely.
And all the best, guys, for content creation.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Sujimi. See you.
Okay.
All right.
See you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, so I guess we have come to an end of the session. Thank you everyone for your participation. Hoping that the art of powerful storytelling will help you in anything you do to be better, to be good in your own way, one way or another. So don't forget to visit our virtual booth, and we have quizzes at MTech distribution booth at 11:30 with interesting gift offered. So I'm sure you are going to be one of the winners. So do grab the opportunity. All right. So let's go to the what's going to happen next is do catch up with our upcoming activities for today. At 2:30, we have certification program number 2, Insights from Design Thinking, Human-Centered Approach to Learning and Understanding Stakeholders at Guru Room. And at 4, all right, so continue, this session is actually continue from yesterday class. So don't forget to complete your assignment. All right. And then at 4, we have a virtual singing competition with Mod Rafish. So do grab the opportunity to be one of the winner. I'm sure you have good voice. So do participate at Cendekiawan Cafe at 4 today. And tomorrow we have keynote speaker number 4, Dr. Hanafiah Yusof, Chief Executive Officer of Robopreneur Syndrome Berhad Robotic Solutions, untapped advantage in your digital workforce. So see you then. Bye.